This is a brief update on my dog's injury to her ACL. It's getting close to the 2-year point since the original injury. As you can see, she has pretty good form. I would say when she's walking, it looks like you probably couldn't really even tell that there was an injury there. And I'm definitely grateful that she is mobile and getting around, and I can relax a little bit and let her do her own thing. Just to remind you, it's her left rear leg. That's the injured leg. During the original period of when I was resting her for her rehabilitation, her right leg, her good leg, back leg, it got so much stronger and bigger because she put so much more weight on it that even to this day, I think it still has more muscle on it than the left. And I think she even got in the habit of that just became her dominant go-to leg. She's definitely active. She does run across the yard anytime the mailman or a squirrel or anything. I haven't seen any problems with that. She has gotten through that fencing that I've put to block off the rough terrain on the hillside here. We have a coyote that passes by the property, and she has jumped the fence and torn down there and come out in pretty good shape. A few months ago, she did that, and her injured leg was fine, actually. Her left rear leg, there was nothing, I couldn't see any difference in that. After she jumped through that fencing, she developed a limp in her shoulder, and it's not the first time I've seen it. You can kind of see it here. She's definitely right shoulder. It's messed up. We went back to some form of conservative management, and we're well practiced in it now. So I think I kept her back on leash for a week or two. I just didn't want her tearing off after a squirrel again until her shoulder seemed better. Yeah, definitely when she trots like that, that's when you will see a shoulder injury, the way they really drop that shoulder. I gave her some buffered aspirin during this time. I think it did help her a little bit. When she finally did get through the shoulder injury, when I thought it was sufficient, we got back to taking walks out on the street. And the street's a pretty good test, I think, because it's a hilly neighborhood, so we go down the hill, but then inevitably we will be coming back up at some point. So she loves walks. She's so happy to be able to go out in the neighborhood again because there's so much more out here to do than the backyard. It's always been her favorite thing to do. It takes us a long time to get around the block because every bush must be inspected. This is a good one here because this shows her supporting herself on her injured leg there to squat, so she has no problem doing that. This walk takes about 35 minutes. Again, it's a lot of hill climbing, and I don't really see any, after doing this, I don't see any negative effects from it. I don't see any stiffness the next day or that night. So I feel good that she can handle these, no problem. She's probably 12 years old now. So as we start to ascend the hill here, it's a good time to wrap up the video and give a little bit of a summary. Overall, it's a nice shot to end it on. Thank you very much, Kim. But anyways, I am very grateful that this particular non-surgical approach worked out well, and I'm confident going into the future it's gonna continue to work out well for her. I do feel that I may be making another video sometime in the future related to her front right shoulder because I do think she has something going on there, and it did show up on an x-ray at one point, but it was not really conclusive. I think it could be something known as OCD, which is maybe in the category of bone spurs or cartilage flaps. I really don't know yet, but I'll get into that and do some research. I'll wait for some symptoms to show up again and get some video, and then I'll maybe take her to a vet. There might be some kind of surgery required for that one. I'm not sure yet what's the best approach. Maybe it's a minimal invasive surgery, if anything. Or maybe nothing is needed. I don't know yet. So, yeah, Sheila's just going to continue climbing the hills here, and we're hopefully going to do some more of these walks because we both need the exercise. I know these injuries are probably more stressful for us than they are for the dogs, so I think most importantly, find a way to remain optimistic. during this period. I know it's stressful, but it can get better.